You might be destroying your health with every white bite you take right now, and you don't even know it. Imagine a simple spoonful of something that looks harmless on your plate, yet it is silently raising your blood sugar, inflaming your arteries, and stealing the energy you need to enjoy the years you've earned. If you're over 60, this hidden danger could be turning everyday meals into a ticking time bomb for your heart and your vitality. Stop scrolling, stop snacking, and listen closely before another bite steals a little more of your life. If this is opening your eyes, smash that like button right now and let the signal tell me you're ready to protect yourself. I'm Dr. Carlos Mendez, a nutrition specialist who has spent more than 20 years working side by side with seniors, helping them reclaim the energy and health they thought were gone. Today, I'm going to reveal the white food that most men over 60 consume without a second thought, thinking it's just a simple part of the routine. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why it's dangerous, how it's sabotaging your body, and what you can replace it with to feel stronger, clearer, and more vibrant every day. First, let's talk about the habit you probably have without even noticing. Do you start your morning with a slice of white toast, spread with butter, and a cup of coffee? Do you find yourself reaching for a bowl of white rice at lunch, perhaps with a piece of grilled fish or chicken? Maybe you enjoy a quick snack of plain crackers or a biscuit in the afternoon, believing they're just light and easy on the stomach. Juan, a 63-year-old retired engineer, swore by his daily bowl of white rice because it reminded him of family gatherings, and he never imagined it could be the silent culprit behind his recent bouts of fatigue and rising blood pressure. These moments feel ordinary, almost comforting, which is exactly why the danger stays hidden. Think about the times you felt a sudden dip in energy mid-afternoon, or the way your blood pressure spikes after a hearty dinner, even though you haven't changed anything else. What if I told you those spikes are not random, but a direct response to a simple carbohydrate that your body processes very differently after 60? The answer lies in the way our metabolism changes as we age. Our cells become less efficient at using insulin, the hormone that moves sugar from the bloodstream into our muscles. When you consume a large amount of refined white carbs, your pancreas has to work overtime, releasing a surge of insulin that temporarily lowers blood sugar, only for it to crash soon after, leaving you tired, irritable, and reaching for another snack. Now, let's build the mystery a little more. You might think that because this food is low in fat, it's automatically heart-friendly. You might recall the old saying, "You are what you eat," and picture a plate of fluffy white rice as simply a source of energy, not a threat. The truth is, the process that turns whole grains into that bright powder white product strips away the fiber, the vitamins, and the minerals that normally slow down digestion. What remains is a rapid-release carbohydrate that behaves like a sugar rush, especially harmful when your body's natural defenses are already weakened by age. So, what is the white culprit? It isn't just one thing, but a family of foods that share the same refined, bleached character: white rice, white bread, regular pasta, and plain crackers. All of them look innocent. All of them have been part of our culture for generations. And all of them are processed to remove the outer bran layer, leaving behind a starchy core that turns into glucose almost instantly when you eat it. Why does this matter more after 60? First, the natural decline in muscle mass means your body needs less glucose for movement, yet the same amount of fast-acting carbs floods the bloodstream. Second, the lining of your blood vessels becomes more sensitive to inflammation, and those spikes in insulin and sugar promote the formation of plaque, raising the risk of hypertension and heart disease. Third, without adequate fiber, your gut bacteria lose their food source, leading to an imbalance that can increase systemic inflammation and even affect mood and cognition. Finally, the lack of sustained energy from slow digesting carbs means you'll feel that familiar afternoon slump more often, compromising your ability to stay active, walk the dog, or enjoy a hobby. Let me break down the specific effects you might notice if you keep feeding yourself this white diet. After a single serving of white rice, your blood sugar can rise by as much as 30% within 15 minutes, triggering a surge of insulin that may last for an hour. That spike is followed by a rapid decline, often dropping your blood sugar below baseline. which is why you feel that sudden wave of fatigue. Over weeks and months, those repeated spikes can lead to prediabetes, a condition that quietly damages blood vessels and nerves. Your cholesterol profile can shift as well, with triglycerides climbing and good cholesterol slipping, a combination that nudges you closer to a heart attack or stroke. Blood pressure may inch upward, especially if you pair the white carb with a salty sauce or a fatty cut of meat, because the body retains more fluid in response to the insulin surge. And because the gut microbiome is starved of fiber, you might experience constipation, bloating, or even mild mood swings as inflammation spreads. Now, let's talk about the common mistakes people make with these foods. Many of you think that having a single slice of white bread for breakfast is harmless, but the reality is that most of us eat these items 3 or 4 times a day without realizing it. You might add a generous spoonful of butter, jam, or cheese, thinking you're adding flavor, but those fats only slow down digestion slightly, leaving the carbohydrate still to hit your bloodstream hard. Pairing white rice with a rich, salty sauce at dinner compounds the problem because the sodium keeps water in your system, amplifying the blood pressure effect. And eating a bowl of white pasta late at night is especially risky. Your body's metabolism slows down as you prepare for sleep, so the glucose stays elevated longer, interfering with the restorative processes that happen while you rest. Consider Pedro, a 65-year-old former accountant who loved his nightly bowl of white rice with curry. He thought the spices helped his digestion, but within 6 months, his doctor warned him about rising blood pressure and a slight increase in his waistline. When Pedro swapped the white rice for a half cup of quinoa and added a side of steamed vegetables, his numbers began to improve almost immediately. Within 3 weeks, his blood pressure dropped by 12 millimeters of mercury. His energy levels steadied, and he reported sleeping more soundly. What do you think about all this? Have you ever noticed a pattern of feeling sluggish after a meal that seemed harmless? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments because sharing experiences helps us all spot the hidden dangers that our bodies try to tell us about. Now that you understand why these white foods are sabotaging your health after 60, you might wonder what you can do instead. The good news is that you don't have to give up the pleasure of a satisfying meal. You can replace white rice with whole grains like brown rice, farro, or barley, which retain their natural fiber and release glucose more gently. Swap white bread for whole grain or sprouted grain loaves and choose pasta made from lentils or chickpeas for a protein boost. Even simple changes, like adding a handful of leafy greens or a drizzle of olive oil, can balance the meal and keep your blood sugar steadier. Remember, the goal isn't to deprive yourself, but to give your body the tools it needs to stay strong, keep the heart ticking, and enjoy the freedom that comes with age. By cutting out the refined white staples and choosing nutrient-dense alternatives, you'll feel the difference in your energy, your mood, and your overall health. If you're ready to take the next step and keep learning how to protect yourself from hidden food traps, hit that subscribe button and join our community of men over 60 who are choosing health, vitality, and a brighter future. You can start right now in the very next grocery trip by swapping that familiar white loaf for a loaf that still smells of fresh bakery but carries the deep, nutty scent of whole grains. When you reach for the package, pause for a moment, look at the ingredient list, and ask yourself if the first word is enriched or refined. If it is, set it aside and reach for the option that lists whole wheat, oats, or sprouted grains among the first 3 ingredients. It feels like a small decision, but each time you choose the whole grain version, you are giving your heart a protective layer of fiber, antioxidants, and slow-release carbohydrates that keep blood sugar steady throughout the day. Imagine your breakfast table a week from now. You could still enjoy a warm slice of toast, but now it is topped with avocado, a sprinkle of sea salt, and perhaps a thin slice of smoked salmon. The creamy green fruit supplies healthy fats that help your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins in the grain, while the protein from the fish adds satiety that prevents the mid-morning slump you may have been used to after a sugary cereal. If you miss the feeling of the familiar crunch, try toasting the whole grain slice a little longer. The extra caramelization brings a satisfying snap that mimics the texture you love. Moving on to lunch, many of us grew up with a plate of white rice accompanied by a hearty stew or a grilled piece of meat. That combination can be transformed without losing the comfort you associate with a home-cooked meal. Replace the white rice with a half cup of brown rice, quinoa, or even farro, which retains its natural bran and germ, delivering more protein and minerals. Add a generous handful of leafy greens, such as spinach or kale, that have been lightly sautéed in olive oil and garlic. The greens not only provide a burst of color, but also supply phytonutrients that fight inflammation, a silent enemy that accelerates joint pain and cardiovascular risk in men over 60. If you are a fan of pasta, consider the switch to legume-based noodles. Lentil or chickpea pasta carries a higher protein content and a lower glycemic impact, meaning the rise in blood sugar after a meal will be more gradual. Pair it with a sauce made from fresh tomatoes, basil, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and you have a dish that feels indulgent yet supports your metabolic health. You may notice a richer, earthier flavor that compensates for the loss of the familiar bright white pasta you have known all your life. Snacking can be a tricky territory, especially when the pantry is stocked with crackers, biscuits, and cookies that are almost always made from refined flour. The solution does not have to involve eliminating all treats. Rather, it is about redefining what a snack looks like for your body. A handful of mixed nuts, a piece of fruit, or a small cup of Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon can satisfy cravings while delivering protein, healthy fats, and a modest amount of natural sweetness. If you still crave a crunchy bite, try roasted chickpeas seasoned with smoked paprika. The crunch mimics that of a pretzel, but the legumes provide fiber and protein that keep you feeling full longer. Many of the men I have worked with tell me that the biggest hurdle is not the knowledge, but the habit. Habits are deeply rooted in the routines we have built over decades, and changing them requires patience and a clear plan. Start by identifying the times of day when you most often reach for the white staple. Is it the mid-afternoon when you feel a dip in energy? Is it the evening after a long day, when you want something comforting before bed? Write those moments down and then decide on a specific alternative for each. For the afternoon slump, a small portion of mixed berries with a spoonful of cottage cheese can give you a gentle lift. For the evening comfort, a warm bowl of vegetable soup with barley or a small serving of baked sweet potato can replace the white rice without sacrificing the feeling of a hearty meal. Reading nutrition labels is another skill that can empower you. Look for the term dietary fiber, and aim for at least 3 grams per serving in the products you choose. Notice the amount of added sugars. Even a product that appears savory can contain hidden sweeteners that spike insulin. Pay attention to the sodium content as well, because many refined grain products are salted heavily, contributing to higher blood pressure. When you become comfortable scanning the label, you will start to see patterns that reveal which foods truly support your health goals and which are merely disguised as harmless. You might wonder whether these changes will affect the pleasure you get from food. The answer is a resounding yes, but in a different way. When you feed your body the nutrients it truly needs, you experience a steadier level of energy, a clearer mind, and a more consistent mood. The occasional craving for a sweet or salty bite will still arise, but you will find that you can satisfy it with a more nutrient-dense option, and the craving will pass faster because your blood sugar remains balanced. One of my patients, a gentle man in his late 60s, told me that after switching to whole grain breads and adding a daily serving of nuts, he no longer felt the restless urge to get up in the middle of the night for a snack. He slept deeper, woke up refreshed, and even his grandchildren commented on how Grandpa seems more lively now. If you are concerned about the taste of whole grain products, remember that flavor can be enhanced with herbs, spices, and healthy fats. A dash of turmeric, a pinch of cumin, or a splash of lemon juice can transform a bland bowl of brown rice into a vibrant side dish. Toasting whole grain flour before using it in a batter can bring out a nutty aroma that rivals the familiar scent of refined flour. Experiment with different seasonings, and you will discover a new palette of flavors that keep your meals exciting. Let's talk about the social aspect of eating. Many of us grew up sharing meals with family and friends, and the table often featured dishes that are now recognized as heavy in refined carbs. When you attend a gathering and see a platter of white rice or a basket of white rolls, it can feel challenging to stay true to your new plan. The key is preparation and communication. Bring a dish of your own, perhaps a quinoa salad with colorful vegetables, and let the host know you are trying a new approach for health reasons. Most people are supportive once they understand that you are not trying to be difficult, but simply taking care of yourself. You might even inspire someone else to consider a healthier alternative. Now, let's address the psychological side of this transition. It is natural to feel a sense of loss when you give up something that has been part of your routine for many years. Acknowledge that feeling. It is a sign that you are making a meaningful change. Instead of focusing on what you are removing, celebrate what you are adding: more fiber, more vitamins, more minerals, and a better quality of life. Keep a journal of how you feel each day. Note the moments when you have steady energy, when your blood pressure readings improve, when you notice a clearer mind during a conversation. Over time, those positive notes will become a powerful reminder of why you made the change. If you ever feel tempted to slip back into old habits, remember the stories of men like Juan, Pedro, and the many others who have walked this path before you. Their journeys began with a single decision to replace a white staple with a whole grain counterpart, and the ripple effect improved not only their numbers on the medical chart, but also their ability to play with grandchildren, to enjoy a walk without shortness of breath, and to feel proud of their bodies at an age where many assume decline is inevitable. Their successes show that the body is remarkably adaptable, even after 60, provided we give it the right fuel. For those who love to cook, consider dedicating a weekend to preparing a batch of whole grain pilaf, a hearty bean stew, or a roasted vegetable tray. Store them in portion-sized containers, and you will have ready-to-heat meals that keep you from reaching for the quick, refined options when time is short. Meal prep can become a ritual that you look forward to, a chance to experiment with new spices, and a way to ensure you always have a nutritious option on hand. One final practical tip: stay hydrated. Drinking enough water helps your kidneys filter out excess sodium and supports the digestion of fiber. Aim for a glass of water with each meal and keep a bottle nearby throughout the day. If you enjoy tea, choose unsweetened herbal varieties. They can provide soothing moments without adding hidden sugars. As we wrap up, I want you to reflect on the small but powerful choices you can make right now. The next time you sit down to eat, ask yourself, is this white and refined, and will it help my heart and my energy, or is there a better option? That question, repeated daily, will rewire your habits and guide you toward meals that nourish, rather than sabotage. I would love to hear from you. Share in the comments the biggest white staple you think you'll give up first, or tell us about a successful swap you've already tried. Your experiences can help others in this community avoid the pitfalls and find the shortcuts that work best for them. If this information resonated with you, give the video a thumbs up so the algorithm knows to bring more content like this to men over 60 who are committed to a healthier future. Remember, the journey to better health is a series of small steps, not a giant leap. Each time you choose a whole grain over a refined one, you are investing in a stronger heart, steadier blood sugar, and more vibrant days ahead. Keep experimenting, stay patient with yourself, and celebrate each victory, no matter how modest it may seem. Thank you for staying with me through this detailed look at why those white foods are silently undermining your well-being after 60, and how you can reclaim control with simple, tasty alternatives. If you feel ready to keep learning, stay tuned for the next video where we'll dive into hidden sources of sodium in everyday meals and how to cut them without sacrificing flavor. Until then, take care of yourself, keep moving, and remember that the best version of you is still ahead. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and join our growing family of men over 60 who are choosing vitality, strength, and a brighter tomorrow. Your health is worth every mindful bite. Remember, each small swap adds up to a stronger heart and steadier energy. Share your success story in the comments. Which white staple will you ditch first? If this helped you, give a thumbs up so more seniors benefit. Stay tuned for the next deep dive.